If you had to broadly categorize, what do you think is the biggest, for the lack of a better word, red flag or complete non-negotiable in a relationship?
So when you are not able to take responsibility for self and self behavior, you will not be able to take responsibility for the relationship.
Today's times, I hear a lot of conversation on internet analysis and social media about infidelity and cheating, which seems to be one of the biggest. So, interestingly, when you take surveys, most of the people believe that a lot of cheating is happening in committed relationships and exclusive relationships.
But let's
However,
say we are talking about infidelity and cheating. Actually, they're two different things. Infidelity and being unfaithful is totally different from cheating,
okay.
at least in my opinion. Or in a relationship that you are, or in a position that you are. It can be in your romantic partnership, it can be your business partnership, but you are there for I would say an agenda. You have an agenda, but it is just one act. There is no agenda. You don't want to take advantage. But when you're cheating your life partner because of money, when you're cheating them emotionally, when you're cheating them mentally, robbing them off.
Give me an example of this, because this is very fascinating. I understand that you're trying to. I understand what you mean, that you go out and say you're physically intimate with someone else, which has not been agreed in your marriage, and you have kept it from your partner.
And you're staying even though you know what is happening, but you're staying not because you love the person. You're staying because you are here for the comfort, for the status, for the money. But your message to the partner every time an arguments happen is, I'm here for the kids.
Okay.
You have done this to me. Now I'm a victim and you're a victimizer, and I'm the poor me and you're the bad one because you're going and doing a sexual act. But what
Okay.
am I doing? I'm cheating my children.
So, in our last conversation, we spoke about choosing a partner and what happens when marriages don't really go as we intend them to go. Now, I want to talk about what really is the cause of the biggest pain point in relationships. Now, relationships could be a committed relationship, it could be dating, it could be marriage, it could be live in. There are so many types of relationships these days, and there are so many people who come to you with issues. So, if you had to broadly categorize, what do you think is the biggest, for the lack of a better word, red flag or complete non-negotiable in a relationship?
I think the biggest pain point would be lack of self responsibility, and that will branch out into so many different issues, right? So, when you are not able to take responsibility for self and self behavior, you will not be able to take responsibility for the relationship. So I think that's the first red flag. The other things are, I would say, a little minor. Let's say character issues, bringing up issues, values not matching, things like that. But now let's go back to what I feel is the main important issue, where based on this, I feel almost every relationship that has fallen apart is because one or both lacked in this area of taking responsibility. So now with lack of responsibility or self responsibility comes a lot of other issues. So you can become a partner who will not listen, or you would be at the receiving end of this. You would be a partner who is not seen and heard. So you have emotional pain, right? Or you can be a partner who will not resolve issues, will escape it. So then, there can be alcohol, gambling,
Uh,
prostitution, men going out or women going out. So
Abuse?
eventually,
Would you consider that to be abuse?
and no, these are not abuse. The consequence of this will become some form of abuse, but these are just
Okay.
character flaws, and it is all stemming from the place where I am not taking responsibility for myself first. Imagine if my health is not important,
Yeah.
how will your issue with me would be important, right? Priorities. So I think the self responsibility is where we begin and also we end a relationship. If I want to be responsible for my well-being, I would only have that in me to be responsible for the well-being of both of us. But if I'm not responsible for my own well-being, how do you even expect me to be responsible for the relationship, right? So I think this is the biggest red flag. And after that comes other things like, let's say, cheating, infidelity, a partner who has issues, gambling, addictions, all of that, all of those stuff. Yeah.
Okay, I understand. And there is this sentence that always comes to me. It's one of my most favorite things to say, and it's so uncanny how it's applicable to so many situations. But something that you just said really hit home with me, that people can only meet each other as deeply as they have met themselves.
Absolutely.
So, your point about responsibility, that if I can't show up for myself, how can I show up for you?
Yeah.
First I have to show up for myself.
Yeah.
So I understand that these are the biggest pain points, which are way more, but for the sake of this conversation, I think in today's times I hear a lot of conversation on internet analysis and social media about infidelity and cheating, which seems to be one of the biggest so, interestingly, when you take surveys, most of the people believe that a lot of cheating is happening in committed relationships and exclusive relationships. However, most of the people diss it, they hate it. So, there is like a control group that's telling us that, say, a majority of the population is cheating on their partner in the sense of, physically cheating, being unfaithful, etc. And most of them hate it and diss it in society. So we are sort of indulging in things that we're not liking ourselves. What
So
do you have
it's
to say about that?
hypocrisy, right?
Of course.
See, we all are sinning. It's just that a sin I am not comfortable with, that is a problem. And the moment I start doing the same sin, because now I'm getting comfortable with it, now it is no more a sin, right? So it comes. But let's say we are talking about infidelity and cheating. Actually, they're two different things. Infidelity and being unfaithful is totally different from cheating,
Okay.
at least in my opinion. See, infidelity, even if we were checking dictionary, right? Infidelity or unfaithfulness is when one or both partner are indulging in an act of sexual nature with another person outside of the relationship, right?
Right.
So this is infidelity. This is pure sexual, physical, whatever. But to me, bigger problem than infidelity is actually cheating.
Okay.
Now, what is cheating is when cheating is really amazing, because most people don't realize they're actually cheating themselves. Forget about cheating your partner. Cheating is about where you're dishonest with who you are, or in a relationship that you are, or in a position that you are. It can be in your romantic partnership, it can be your business partnership, but you are there for I would say an agenda. You have an agenda. You are wanting to take an advantage which you have not declared to the partner.
Oh.
Now, if we go by cheating in the real essence of what cheating means, then everyone is cheating. And that cheating, for me, as someone who works with people and also who watches life very closely and deeply, is far worse than physically being intimate with a third party. And why I do say that is because, see, when I'm going out, I mean, I'm not going out, but let's say if someone is going out and physically being disloyal, I won't call it cheating. You're being physically disloyal. You're going after a desire, you're doing one thing. And back of your mind, you're doing it wrong. But now either the attraction is too much, it can have a spiritual angle to it, which we can discuss later.
Sure.
Or it is because you felt lonely, or is it because maybe your hormones are all over the place, or whatever. It can be, let's say, 10 reasons for it, but you're doing one thing and then you're going back. If the person gets to know you would hurt, but it is just one act. There is no agenda, you don't want to take advantage, but when you're cheating your life partner because of money, when you're cheating them emotionally, when you're cheating them mentally, robbing them of, their identity, their individuality, their family, their closeness and bond with other friends and people whom they can be a support system to them, right? When you are doing things and robbing off who they are and the life they lived before you entered, I think that's the biggest cheating.
Give me an example of this, because this is very fascinating. I understand that you're trying to I understand what you mean, that uh, you go out and say you're physically intimate with someone else, which has not been agreed in your marriage, and you have kept it from your partner. That is one act of breaching the so-called contract or the structure of the marriage, of an
Yeah.
exclusive marriage, right? Because now there are many kinds of marriage, so I have to declare that this is an exclusive
I
marriage. And
believe
when
in one
you
marriage, okay? There may be a
okay.
thousand versions, but that's for us, to suit us, na? To make
Yes,
our sin less painful and our
perhaps.
guilt lesser, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think when people go out and they are intimate with someone else outside the marriage, of course, there is guilt, and there is this, there are like myriad emotions that people go through, and a lot of them can be very displeasurable, etc. So I
Yeah.
think that is definitely the case. And after this, you did mention that cheating, however, is still way worse than the
Infidelity.
classic definition of infidelity, or being sexually unfaithful to your
Yeah.
partner. Give me an example of how, what could be that act of cheating which is going to be far worse than being physically disloyal.
Let's say you meet a person, the only reason you want to be with that person is because the person is going to give you a lot of comfort and luxury, right? So you cheat yourself to believe you love the person. You cheat the other person and make the other person believe that you love them. But all the agenda is to take advantage of their status and
Okay.
get to that point of luxury and comfort and status and all of that. This is one form of cheating. Let's say you love, you're not marrying for money. And then you become so controlling and possessive. You start mental and emotional abuse with an agenda of control. You may not know it consciously, but subconsciously you know. You are uncomfortable if your partner meets even his or her parents. You start just slowing cutting up. So this is a very psychopathic, or I would say narcissistic behavior, but we all have those traits, right?
Sure.
You cut close people and family and support. You have emotionally and mentally abusing the person with an agenda that you want to have an upper hand because you feel inferior either to your partner or to the setup. If these are not cheating, then what is cheating?
So sort of isolating your partner.
Either you're isolating or you're staying in a relation. See, anything. For me, cheating is about you are staying with a partner, you have an agenda for a certain advantage which you have not disclosed to the partner.
Okay.
Let's say you are a partner, you have a partner who is actually going and physically cheating, going out and having, doing whatever he or she is doing. And you're staying, even though you know what is happening, but you're staying because you're staying not because you love the person, you're staying because you are here for the comfort, for the status, for the money. But your message to the partner every time an arguments happen is, I'm here for the kids,
Okay.
you have done this to me, now I'm a victim and you're a victimizer and I'm the poor me and you're the bad one because you're going and doing a sexual act. But what
Okay.
am I doing? I'm cheating my children of a good home environment. I'm also cheating myself because I'm not being honest with myself. I am not stepping out because I am here for my children. I'm not stepping out because I can't step out. No one else will provide this kind of comfort and luxury. I'm only here not because I want to keep the home and the marriage together, because I have an advantage, but I'm not disclosing that advantage. I'm using it and making the other person wrong. So this is also cheating.
What's wrong with wanting comfort and luxury?
There's nothing wrong, but it shouldn't be at the cost of your integrity.
Do you think it is? Do you
It
think
is.
it that happens?
It
How?
is.
Explain. I would really
See,
want to know.
I have a very weird way of looking at relationships, because see, just one stamp and they tell you you are now husband and wife, right? But that one stamp is not is not a certification of your character, and it is also not a guarantee that you will never, now you will not have any human traits of
Yeah.
wanting more, of wanting, to be different.
Changing, evolving.
Yeah. So if you're wanting luxury and comfort, right, there's nothing wrong in it, right? And there's nothing wrong even in demanding it. But if you are abusing your partner mentally and emotionally because you're playing the victim in a situation where the other person is going out, he or she is not right. Don't take me wrong, I am not for infidelity or cheating of any sort, but I'm saying cheating the self and staying in a situation where I know I am being wronged, but I am not moving out, not because for the sake of my children. I'm just not moving out because what I am getting is the payoff of what I'm getting is far greater than the pain of the infidelity. But I am using this weapon
To be a
actually
victim.
to be with him or her and hammer them, have an upper hand, and keep saying I'm here for this, that, and the other, but actually you're here for totally something different.
So basically, just creating your own persona to be better, feel
Yeah.
better about yourself by
Yeah.
putting the other person down,
Yeah, so
while
that's
knowing
also
fully
cheating,
well.
right?
Yeah.
Now coming to infidelity and why people cheat at that level, and see, the voice of the society has changed, the way we think have changed, the way we look at the relationships have changed, and unfortunately or fortunately, some of them are not real. We may think we have a lot of choices, and now we feel entitled because of the self-love message that goes out. Let's say women empowerment, patriarchy has to be broken, whatever is the message of the society, because we take the messages as sorry, they suit us. We don't pick up the whole context and see whether I should apply this or not.
Sure.
We pick up bits and pieces of things and then see what concoction we can create which will suit me and my way of thinking. And it's okay, everyone does that. Now coming to the fact that before, what would happen is the marriages would happen like we discussed, right? Marriages would happen like a norm, it is a way of life, so there was no love.
Yeah.
Now people would go out to find love. Now marriages are happening because I am being loved. It's love, we know each other, right? Now when the person is going out, now this is no more about the union or the marriage or finding love. It is the entitlement of the so-called message of self-love, that if I have a desire, I should now have the choice to fulfill it, whether within the marriage or outside marriage.
All right. So it's like expressing your free will, exercising your free will,
It is exercising your free will without understanding the consequences of your free will.
or without caring about the consequences.
Yeah, and also, see, there are two ways now we are looking at infidelity. It's like, I am going to do it because I can, or I'm going to do it because everyone else doing it, and it is norm. So look at the amount of all these, apps we have, right? These apps are designed for you to
Yeah.
indulge in infidelity. The society or the system is creating a way for you to go and do it. Because as long as you're on the app, they will earn from you. The moment you are good at home, then the company will collapse, right?
Yeah.
So everything in the society, we must understand this. There was a time the society was about keeping the family and the sanity, and therefore the society was healthier, and therefore cheating was looking at as something which is outside the norm. Now staying in a relationship or choosing to make and build your relationship despite of what is happening is outside the norm, right? Look at how everything has turned around. So now if you're looking at infidelity from today, from this point today, I have a very traditional way of thinking about these things, but let's say from today, then we should also understand, if I am indulging in an act without even caring for the consequences of what it will bring me, because see, it is not about just 10 minutes of fun, or let's say 3 months of attraction, one night of enjoyment, or let's say 3 minutes of pleasure. It's really not about that. It is about being able to go back to yourself, not even to your partner, and be comfortable with who you have become. Now, if we are cheating, and at any time when we are cheating, we're basically cheating because with that person, I am finding a new version of me. I'm exploring more of me.
Sure.
Right? But I can create that situation here also. Unless I have a partner who is like what I said. The partner is so deceitful, and the agenda and the advantage I've been, used for is way too big and way too, I would say, uncomfortable to remain. So now I am looking at peace and solace outside. You won't believe most people. So we have now so many different ways of infidelity, right? As you
Absolutely,
were
yeah.
saying, so people go for prostitutes, right? Prostitution is happening, both male, female, it doesn't matter. There are one night stands, there are
Yeah.
situationships, there are, I don't know, so many others,
Yeah, love
right?
affairs.
Love affairs. Now, so the love affair is completely a different thing, because now this person is not going for pleasure, is not going for distraction, is not going for just to, have adventure in life. When a real love affair happens outside of the marriage, then it is usually, it is happening, it starts with attraction. It also has a spiritual background to it,
Yes,
because
and
we
I would
do.
love to explore the spiritual background of that.
Yeah, of course, because once we understand that, and we understand there is really nothing about good, bad, right, wrong,
Yeah.
it is about self responsibility. Understanding my actions are going to have some consequence, and the consequences are going to be borne not by me only, now with everyone
Everyone
involved.
else.
And do I want to put everyone through this? Because I may deal with my guilt, shame, whichever, but do I want to give this pain to others? So that's another aspect, but I'll come to it later. So now, love affair is very different from all other ways people are now indulging in infidelity in today's,
Right.
before it was one thing, marriage, and outside you had an affair. Now you have 10,000
Yes.
choices,
Yes.
and then you have a love affair. Now the love affair is different, and we must look at it very differently, because now this person is looking for a connection which is missing here.
Right.
This person is looking for that emotional intimacy. 70% of affairs, especially if initiated by a man and kept by man, where they go out and actually fall in love with someone and have an affair, they may love their spouse also equally, or maybe
Sure.
habitual, but that is happening before for emotional intimacy. Whereas 50% of the women who go out and have affairs is for sexual satisfaction.
Okay.
It's totally opposite of what we think if we go into long-term affairs, outside of marriage. So now this person is looking for connection, is looking for intimacy, is looking not anymore for just a temporary dopamine rush, satisfaction, adventure, that rush. It's not looking, it's actually going for peace. Now here it is where we say you can work on it in a different way if you want to. Sometimes it is too late. You won't believe, a lot of people actually, the ones who have love affair, they would have tried all those small short-term ones,
Sure.
and one place they find what they want, which is connection, expression, being accepted, seen and heard, and also obviously there is going to be a sexual intimacy. And in that sexual and emotional intimacy, to be able to explore themselves better. It's not even about her, him, or the spouse.
Yeah.
It is now about the person
About you.
finding
Your own journey.
Yes, and usually a lot of these people are not really, I would say, people who want to do wrong, or they
Yeah.
want to hurt the partner. Most of them are not. We have 30% people who actually want to go and have a love affair so that their spouse finds out, and their spouse itself says no, because they are not capable of breaking it.
Oh Lord. Okay.
We even do have those kind of people.
Different ways of vicarious
And mostly men.
self-sabotage. Yeah.
And mostly men.
Okay.
Women are much more easily and smoothly can walk off a relationship, because emotionally they have worked so much on themselves. By the time they come to a point of breakdown,
Yeah.
that by the time they are there, they've already moved 6 months before, 1 year, 3 years, 10 years back, they've moved emotionally, mentally out of the system. So it's very easy for them to walk off. It is men who go out and they don't mind their spouse finding, so that their spouse itself chooses to leave, So this is also one way of why people go out. And then the rest of it, is because especially with men, they're looking at emotional and mental intimacy, their relationships. We feel women are abused. Trust me, men are equally abused in relationships, and unfortunately men come out, and I feel men are more honest about infidelity, at least amongst their own group, and we as women used to hide it more. Right now, what is happening is, with men, I feel they're trying to hold on to a relationship much more than the women do. And as we have progressed and as we have understood, okay, women have the same rights, as we are more independent, and also, as I said, we have become entitled to think, just because I can and I have the desire, I should go and fulfill it without looking at the consequences. I feel what has happened is with women is, mm, they are a little short sighted. They're
Okay.
more emotionally strong and resilient. They know they can handle it better. But when it comes to having these frivolous, I would say, interactions, mostly of sexual nature, they are very short sighted. They're not realizing now spiritually or energetically what is going to be the effect on not only on their psyche but also simply on the body.
Okay. And what are those effects spiritually?
Yeah, so when it comes to infidelity or cheating, I think we should really take out morality out of it, because
Okay.
it is really not, especially when it is a long term affair or where there is real love and care involved. Frivolous stuff where people are 1 hour with this one and 1 hour with the other one, or this night with this and that, and
Yeah.
swapping partners and things like that. I think that's really
That's a
very,
different level of
that
issue.
is, yeah, that is absolute ignorance and
Yeah.
insanity. And you're actually risking not only the well-being of your union and your relation, and honestly, I won't say honestly, but really, a lot of them come from happy homes. It's just adventure they're looking for. It's just, the rush of the drug they're taking and not knowing where they are and what they are doing. And it is like a mob mentality. Just because everyone
Yeah.
else is doing, let me also try it.
Yeah,
And
it's just a cheap thrill to evade the boredom of life or the
yeah,
mundanity of.
yes, right. So this is something which I would say is, I want to still call it wrong or right, everyone to its own, but it is foolish. And it surely has consequences, both at emotional, mental, psychological, and also spiritual level. Okay. Now, when we talk about infidelity or cheating in the terms of a love affair, right, again, I won't call it, I can't attach more morality to it, because there is a background. See, nothing is by coincidence. Every person we encounter is because we have to encounter. I encounter the person, let's say there is attraction, there is attention, there is, I'm feeling good,
Some
uh,
sort of chemistry, an inexplicable rush of
yeah, whatever.
energy.
But I need to go back and think with awareness, right? Okay, all of this is there, but what is the cost of this? And what is the payoff of this? And usually the cost is way too higher and the payoff is much lesser. Though the thrill, the adventure, the attraction, the whatever physical, I would say the sexual alchemy, all of that is there, but it is really, really something which has consequences, right? Now, at the societal level, the consequences is, of course, you go through guilt, right? You may lose your union, because what if your partner is gets to know and is unforgiving person, and what if actually the other person who comes in makes you, or makes you see a version of you, and then that will causes you not to want to go back, or you can't go back, because how will you lose something so valuable and now go back to something just because you have been stamped for it? So these
Sure.
are the societal, psychological, mental, logical explanations or consequences. But the spiritually, what happens is that we are meeting a person because something has to be balanced out. We are meeting a person because there's a karmic debt, or there's a lesson, some unfinished business was there. But do I want to sexually interact with this person to complete my lesson, or do I want to stay aware, right? And yes, be in close proximity as friends or whatever acquaintances, become business partner, whatever, but you don't have to get sexually close to close that account. Now, when you become intimate at a physical level, what you're doing is energetically you're creating another cycle
Oh,
of entanglements,
okay.
another karmic cycle. Now, not only with this person but also with the spouse of the other person, because now you're invading another space or
Yeah, yeah.
territory, right? So the consequences of that is that what you came to finish as an unfinished business now has become like an atomic bomb, and either in this life or another life you will do. And at the energy level also, you're getting entangled. See, it is not about just intercourse and some physical pleasure and then okay, bye bye. You're actually exchanging all your wounds, you're exchanging all your karma, you're exchanging all the things you're feeling. Like, you will not believe, there was a person I talked to, like as a consultation. The issue was an anxiety,
Hmm.
and it was a year of anxiety. The person will wake up with palpitation,
Hmm.
moving anywhere can have suddenly an anxiety attack.
Hmm.
And then, as I talk, intuitively, suddenly, and then I asked, I said, this happened to you? Because I can see sometimes, like clairvoyant says, yes, the anxiety belonged to a person, to the
Oh.
lady with whom he was having sexual encounter. There
Hmm.
was no love affair, there was no connections, whatever they told me. There was nothing
Hmm.
like that. But the energy exchange had already happened, and this person
Hmm.
suffered for a year.
Hmm.
To that extent, we pick up energy. So now you want to really see if this is really worth it. Do I really want to do this?
Wow, I'm actually speechless after listening to you because I don't think a lot of people are realizing, they're not even coming close to realizing the spiritual cost or the energetic cost of making alliances. And it's unfortunate. I mean, I actually do agree with you on the part about love affairs that humans grow and evolve. See, even in our last conversation, I do have this opinion, and I still maintain it that people are evolving so much. I mean, if you,
Yeah.
and especially if you're a self-aware and intelligent person, you are more miserable because you're so aware of everything that's
Yeah.
happening. You're also constantly able to understand, and if you're even a bit intuitive, you're also able to understand that certain situations and certain patterns are repeating in my life,
Mm.
because I have to learn these lessons. But
Yeah.
how I learn them is a matter of time, matter of my own actions and responses. So of course a lot of energy of an intelligent and self-aware person is going into this. Now in the mix of this, there is also your profession, your business.
Mm.
But the biggest, I would say, factor that can upset your own entirety of being in this whole way of living your life as an aware and conscious person is marriage, dating, going through relationships, different relationships, right?
Yeah.
Because I think you're way more invested, and mm you feel more called in love when
Yeah.
you're in love. Like, say you may have good siblings, good family, but you're bachpan se equipped, na? Bachpan se you sort of have that homeostasis of your home environment. So even if you have a loving mother, a good father, etc., it's more comforting,
Mhm.
as opposed to when you're in love, you're completely, the energy is very high and charged. And since you're changing and evolving, but marriage is something that is going to last a lifetime, as we say,
Supposedly.
supposedly, unless we get out of it, right? Not many people are very spiritually evolved to understand this, the aspect of energy exchange, and how delving in a lot of things, a lot of sexual adventures, one after the other, will, with different people, how it'll impact their insights and energetic insights
Mhm.
specifically. But what I really want to ask you is, there is this conundrum, right? That you're a person and you're an intelligent, self aware, conscious person. So your life is as it is harder. And along with that, there is the mix of your business, your career, and then you get married. And marriage is supposed to be forever, as it
Supposedly.
as it is right now,
Mm.
right? And you try to do your best.
Mm.
What if you meet someone and you fall in love with them, and you literally do fall in love? What do you do then? How do you consider that? Do you think people should step back? uh, do you think people should interact and find out? What if they can't help themselves? What happens then?
So, what stops the person if you really, really have fallen in love? Which means you would have also fallen out of love with your partner, right? So, what stops the person from communicating this to the partner and closing a chapter and moving on with integrity and authenticity to the next?
Hmm.
Why is there need to be in two places?
Hmm.
You get my point? It is not about the spiritual part and knowing about, energetic exchange and all of that. Yes, that's very good to know. And the reason is that the more you become aware, the more you observe what you're doing. At least it will not give you the guilt and shame. You're doing something with an awareness, and not only awareness of what you're doing, but the consequences of it, right? But my question is for all those people who walk out of the marriage, and also really fall in love, and also the ones who are doing frivolous things, I really
Yeah.
feel there's no point talking about it. They're way too immature or lost in a false reality which really doesn't exist, right? So they're just trying to be something and feel something which is not real. So let's keep that aside. But the one who, as you said, falls in love, then what does it take to actually communicate it to the partner and stepping out and being honest about it?
Do you think people can? Okay, so because I'm a writer and I watch so much cinema and read so much poetry and follow the lives of people
Yeah.
who have always been like emotionally conflicted, right? And people who are very, very philosophical, right? Let me take out all of that history of mine and put this question before you. Do you not feel it is possible for humans to be in love with more than one person at the same time?
No.
Okay, okay,
And I have my own reason for it. I
sure.
may be wrong because I haven't fallen in love with 20 different people to know if it is possible to have to be in love with two people at the same time. But I think a lot of what we call love, if it is really love, comes from a space of um, that sense of connection and emotional intimacy and who I become with you. Let's say I'm in love with you and who I become with you. Therefore I want to be more and more with you because I'm actually enjoying who I am, whatever, right? Now now either I call this love. If this is love, then where I am not who I am not, and I'm not being felt, heard and seen, at least to this level, then that's not love. Then what
Okay.
is that? Do you think love will have grades in a
I feel
romantic
like
way?
I feel like love has colors. And I also don't believe that marriage is based on romance. In fact, if you see astrology, which is based on the Vedas, the house of love affairs is the fifth house, which is different from the house of marriage because marriage is only seen as a partnership.
Yeah.
It's seen as a lifelong thing or however
So
long
exactly,
of responsibilities.
so you
And
are just telling, you're giving me the answer.
what? I
So
don't know
the
what
answer is the marriage is a contract, a responsibility,
Yes.
right? As
Yes.
long as you love your partner, it is also love and contract.
Sure.
But when you have a love affair where you really feel this is it, we may be wrong there also, okay? But let's say at that moment you are. So then this is love now, and that is the contract, right? Now the love has moved. The love has moved from its house of responsibility to its house of connection, which is the fifth house, and it's no more a partnership. Because
Okay.
love in essence is not partnership.
Okay, so I'm sort of reading from your response that love is basically, uh, it cannot be shared with more than one
No,
person.
it can be different version of love. In the sense, you love your child also. And if
Yeah.
you have two children, you love both of them, but
Yes.
you don't love both of them equally in the same exact manner.
Absolutely.
There would be different emotions
Yeah.
and different kind of attachment or connection you feel. So now, but that's your child. Now we are talking about someone we are choosing to be with, or their person has been chosen for us by some institution, family, whatever, right?
Right.
Now, this is a choice. With children, you don't have a choice. With your parents, you don't have a choice. Here, you are access. See, why it is important to really understand love not from only a sexual point
Sure.
of view, but also from an emotional, mental, spiritual, psychological point of view. And then, of course, the physical part is extremely important because then only creation or co-creation happens. So it is important. There's something in it which causes you to be able to
Right.
create another human being, right? So
Right.
you're co-creating with the universe when that place or phase comes, right? So of course it is extremely important. But we as human beings, we are a complete package. We are not just this or that. We are sexual, we are physical, we are emotional, we are mental, we are spiritual, we are
Yes.
causal people. Causal means I know if I make this choice, this
Yeah.
cause is going to have some effect, right?
Effect, yeah.
Now, here in a relationship, you are of partnership, whether it is romantic and it ends in marriage, or if it is romantic but it is outside of your marriage, you are still exercising the most powerful thing and one of the things that makes human beings different from others, and that's the power of choice. Now, when there is choice, there can't be two versions of love.
Tell
One
me-
is yeah,
Tell me, what is love?
acceptance.
And what if I accept both?
If you accepted this one and who see, it's not so. Now when we are talking about marriage or relationship or romantic, it is about not only accepting the partner, it is also accepting me in this partnership,
Sure.
accepting her or him in the partnership, and accepting the whole union or partnership as one entity.
Right.
Now if I have gone and found someone else, it means I wasn't in acceptance of something here, either the partner or myself or the union or any combination of two or all three.
Tell me, do you think it's possible? And I know I'm just like going on with my questions, but my brain
it's
is
okay.
going at that speed. Tell me, is it possible to be in complete acceptance of your marriage, especially as the years go on? Do you think it's possible?
Actually, it is not really possible to be in complete acceptance of anything in life, including marriage.
Yeah.
And the reason is, if today I'm in acceptance of this version of my marriage, 6 months down the line, the equation has changed.
Absolutely. And I have changed, they have
Yeah.
changed.
So acceptance happens one day, one act, one
Right.
choice, one decision at a time. You can't be saying, I am here and I'm in acceptance. Let's say I'm in acceptance of you, and then you get up and slap me on my face. I can't be in acceptance of you post that,
Post
right?
that.
So similarly in a marriage, I'm in acceptance of a person who showed me she loves me,
Yeah.
she's wants to take care of my home, wants to have a child with me, is going to respect my parents, and she steps into my home. Now there is no respect, there is no nurturing, everything has changed. How can I be in acceptance of that?
Or say, sometimes it happens even without you trying anything. Say you marry someone and you had a certain version of them. Now, with time, the versions change. You're also changing, they're also changing. And as we discussed in our last conversation, a lot of times, people are just evolving just in separate directions.
Yes.
So, every time you have to like wake up every day and sort of, you have to go the distance, right? And say I'm trying to do that, and I believe that I think at best what we can do is we can try to accept. Even if we are not in, I mean, how does one even know whether they are in complete acceptance of something or not? Right? That in itself is a very mysterious concept. So what we can do is we can try to be in acceptance, and before that comes that we can try to be honest about what we see is happening.
See, that's what, when we say we want to be in acceptance, now, do I want to accept this and tolerate it and stay? Do you want to accept this, believe I'm accepting this, and I step out and have an affair? Am I accepting this and I'm still doing my part to the fullest? Am I accepting this and becoming numb and depressed? Right? So, even acceptance of the situation or the so called marriage has its own consequences and variations. Now, what acceptance means to you, wanting to hold on to the marriage, and what it would mean to me, wanting to hold on or even step out of it. I can really fully accept my partner, but not be in acceptance of the union. I have no problem what you want to do, how you want to do it, but I am not going to accept who I am becoming as a result of your actions. Now, either we work it together or I am out. This is also acceptance. I am in acceptance of you, but I am not in acceptance of me when I am with you. Therefore, I am going to find a third party with whom I am in acceptance of who I am when I am. Right? So, all of it, this is acceptance. But what are we trying to say is, what it means is to be in a relationship is to be able to See, a relationship is worth being in. Whether it is open, whether it is friendship, whether it is business partnership, whether it's a marriage of 30 years, it's worth being in if you still care for each other. None of you has gone through so much of hurt to become numb. None of you is accepting the situation because I am having distractions outside and you no more matter. If that is what the marriage is, then how good is that? And no two people who are going through a bad, abusive, crazy marriage with infidelity, cheating of all kinds, emotional, mental, this, that, should they stay together and then use the children as their prey? That because of the children we are together. Because every
They
small
should not
act,
even have affairs. They should leave. They should just let others stay in peace, I feel.
yeah,
The people
because
you're
everything
describing.
we are doing to so called remain together and for the sake of children, every act,
Yeah.
emotion is actually getting transferred to your
Yes.
child.
Yes.
You know how many women choose abusive partners because they had abusive parents?
Right.
How many men choose a life partner who will deceive them, who will stay in the comfort of their home and cheat behind their back, not with another man, but with their own family, talking behind their back, humiliating the husband, making other plans about future life, that once I have this much of independence, I'm going to kick him and move on. This is also cheating. I may not be with any other man, but every day I'm planning how to get rid of this person. It's cheating. What is it, right?
While profiting.
While profiting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So all of this we are transferring, and how many men get along with such people because that's what they witnessed in their childhood. That's what the energy came from the mother or anyone in the family. So we think that we are too smart and we are using the children for whatever excuses we are using for life. But I think the biggest thing comes back that it is not whether infidelity or anything else. It's about self responsibility.
Yeah.
Who am I becoming? Who I am? What am I doing? How am I affecting myself and my environment? Do I really want to be this person for the rest of my life? Would I be a role model for my children? Would I, after 30 years, look back and say, I was a great person, I was the hero of my life? Or I want to look back and be ashamed of the villain I have been to myself, all the wrong decisions I've made? So if we look at life in this way, how many people will go out and cheat, really? No, no one will go. They will end this, move on. We cheat in whichever way, sexually, physically, mentally, whatever, because the payoff of that cheating is very good because we
And
want
it's
to do it.
mostly it's just comfort, some
Yeah.
sort of comfort.
I
Comfort doesn't always have to be material. It can be just stagnation, which is like whatever is familiar is not healthy,
Yeah.
but it's familiar, so we choose it. So sometimes we choose it because our parents were like that, therefore our partner is like that. So we are unhealthy in a familiar way, and we just know how to be around that. Because we've called ourselves a victim all throughout our childhood. It's just convenient now to say this so that we don't have to, because growing is always
Yeah.
harder.
Yeah.
So I think there is just so much to say, but at the same time it is so hard to put this reality into words, that everything comes at such deep cost. Even if you even say you got married and you just happen to fall in love with someone, even going with them comes at a cost, not going with them comes at a cost, leaving everybody and being alone comes at a
At a very high
cost.
cost.
So you
Ask
live
me.
and you pay the price, right?
Yes.
Basically you just live and you pay the price. This has
Yeah.
been such a difficult conversation, actually, because so many difficult truths have come out, and it really and this is the one thing that I really also feel makes an intelligent, self-aware, intentional person miserable, because you have to constantly navigate and learn so much about life. And the more you learn, the more you know how much you don't know. Like,
Yeah.
even from this conversation with you, I feel like there's so much that I can literally unpeel and unpeel, and there'll be like so many more deeper layers.
Yeah. There is. Life is deep.
Tell me one, what is the deepest layer that you have uncovered about since the episode is about infidelity, since we decided to discuss infidelity, what do you think is the deepest truth that we really do not want to accept?
That we all are cheating ourselves more than we are cheating our partners or anyone.
Does that even apply to single people?
Yes. A lot of us are single because
Yeah.
because being with someone has a higher cost.
Yes. So a lot of times I feel like not attaching yourself is also an act of self defense.
Yes. A lot
And
of times.
yeah, and that is painful in itself because that can feel lonely.
See, I think one thing I really want to add here is we need to also understand that how men look at life and deeper meanings of it, and our topic, let's say infidelity, and how women look at it is very different. I think the biggest issue is that we are too quick to get into relationships, too quick to fall in love, okay, and too quick to decide to remain a victim, put our hands off and say I surrender. But we are surrendering to our self deceit. We are not surrendering to our truth. Because if I want to be someone who wants to have a real relationship, and so see, as women, how we see infidelity is he closer emotionally to that woman than I am? Because it is about, see, I don't know about other societies, but in our societies, as women, we believe we need to be chosen. The Prince Charming on a white horse will come and pick me up and then keep me happily ever after. So now, if I'm married, I'm the chosen one. I'm superior to anyone who's single. And now, if by chance my husband likes someone other than me, now it's my identity crisis. Now I
Yeah.
no more. I am the entitled princess, who is supposed to be loved and kept happily ever after. So I'm having no trauma, right? Yeah, it's a trauma. And how men look at it is very different, right? Men have a problem with, so women have more problem with emotional and mental intimacy than they have with if the husband goes out and
Yeah.
cheats sexually, right? Men have more problem with a woman going out and cheating sexually, physically, and having sex with another man or a partner than if she's cheating on him financially, spiritually, emotionally. Okay, because that's the places they can close their eyes. Why? Because men are very territorial, right? It is my territory. This is
And
what I
more
need to.
like tangible things oriented, like
And they like to conquer. That's how they are. They're designed to possess, conquer, own. They love their car. They would know, how many,
Yeah.
what brand of what tire and which company and how many years that company,
Yeah.
of their car, but they would not know if you have how often you have headache and what is the reason
Yeah.
for your headache. So they are like that. They're designed like that. So now when we are coming to be together, I think the deepest, most I would say amusing to me, not only about others, but also when I watch myself, is how dishonest we are to ourselves. And what a rush for this so called connection that we are seeking everywhere else we have, that we don't sit and understand and see, do we really look at life in the same way? Right? Physical attraction can happen. Maybe you go ahead and answer that so-called call of whatever, but what next? What after that? Right? So I am not able to, because I am so desperate for connection outside of me, because I'm so disconnected and I'm continuously deceiving myself of and portraying an image which I am not, that any Tom, Dick and Harry I can hang on to feel connected and less lonely, as you mentioned. But I'm not ready to sit down and do the deep work of the self, which is not very difficult. The only thing is to just sit down and understand your good, bad, ugly, and then accept it. And also know that you're not really going out for love.
Yeah.
You're going out because you are so empty inside. So if we do this homework, then we will not jump on anyone and everyone.
Hmm.
Then we will take a pause. Okay, I know this person has come. I know I'm dying to have a companion, but let me watch and
Yeah.
see if this one is good for me or not.
Hmm.
This much of 5 minutes of introspection will save you lifetimes of
Yeah.
cheating, infidelity, this kind of conversation. But we
Yeah.
don't. So I think the deepest truth, and also I would say sometimes it actually makes me feel sad because I'm sure I work a lot on myself, so I know I'm also a work in progress, right? So we really, really are very dishonest with ourselves, and we will use any medium, from partner to
Hmm.
spirituality to business to whatever, to cover up for that one
Yeah.
flaw.
Yeah.
Hmm?
Yeah. So I think integration, which is the hardest
Yeah,
to
for
do.
integration, we need integrity with the
Yeah.
self,
Yeah.
which we
Yeah.
don't have,
Yeah, we
right?
first need to be honest about what is actually happening. So I feel
Hmm.
like we're also like just traumatizing ourselves because a lot of
Yeah.
times
Yeah, really, it's not needed, right? You so
it's
beautifully put
yeah
it. Yeah.
it's not needed, but I think that's what being a human is, probably, that we're just getting into. So basically, to finally disentangle, you have to go through the processes of entanglement to get hurt enough, or to pay the price. You have to pay the price to know the price. It's
Yeah.
probably that
Yes.
that maybe that's what we are doing. So I think this has been like one of the most difficult conversations we are even going to have further, I feel, because infidelity is a very tricky and a very prickly and delicate topic that people really don't want to uh, talk about.
Yeah.
And as I mentioned, that survey, which is the mark of today's times,
Yeah.
that most people are indulging in infidelity, but most people hate others indulging in infidelity and consider it to be wrong. So that also shows us how dishonest we really are. And the most dishonest and the first dishonesty we are showing is to ourselves.
Yes.
So thank you for this beautiful and really painful conversation. I hope
You're
people are
welcome.
going to benefit from it.
I hope so too. Thank you.